Good morning, Facebook and YouTube. About a minute exactly to go live. Still waiting, my friends. Super.
This is a Vintage Talkshow with Femi Akintunde-Johnson.
Just need to remember. Yeah, the last day of the fifth month of 2025. We are here by His grace, and you are there. Welcome. Good morning, friends. Welcome to the Vintage Talk Show with the Fudge and friends. Well, we're still expecting my friends here. Wherever you are listening to us or watched us, thank you for joining us. I'm your anchor on this show. My name is Femi Akintunde-Johnson. My friends call me Fudge. And at least I have one of my friends in the house. Good morning. Glad to have you in the studio. AC Fair, Ogundadegbe. Good morning this morning.
Good morning to everybody. Welcome to the very last day in the month of May. Welcome to everybody. Stay with us today as we give you all that we have for you.
Stay with us as we give you all that we have. And what do we have for you? 2 days ago, the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu clocked 2 years. So, what has life and living been for you since his ascension? On different levels, how has Tinubu impacted your life, your career, or your business? And most of today's episode is devoted to reviewing different areas of the first half of Tinubu's first term in office. And I have some guests, well, I hope to have some guests in the house, dissecting this interesting 2 years. But one thing you can count on us in here, we will speak truth to power and shine light on dark spots. Mm. Let us kick off with the quote for the week. And it says, "Takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a child." In anything that we want to bring up to sustainably and wholesomely, it's it has to be a community effort. It cannot be a single attempt, or you can't be a one man soldier or one man caregiver. The whole community has to be part and parcel of bringing up with care and love and some discipline a good child. That's how Africa started, and that I pray we do not deviate from that. Good morning, Amolara.
Good morning,
What is up
sir.
with
Good morning.
Please let your sound continue like this. There was a cracking sound earlier. I will introduce you now. I will move
Yes.
on. Well, before I share with you knowledge booster, let's listen to Shei vibes in this song called Shaolin. Hmm. Amolara,
Yes, sir.
a little more pace. A little more pace, right?
Yes, sir.
Never come attention. Please let me watch out in case and somebody pops up. And that's Shaolin for you. As a line that stood out for me in that ditty that he rap. It says Tinobaku Amatojen. And that's if you have generator. Interesting. Okay. So fact checking incredible stories, incredible information that you may have read or seen or heard. They say, do you know that despite their fluffy white fur, polar bears actually have black skin? Mm. That is part of what they look. They look white and all that, but they actually have black skin. Is it true or not? Fact checker says it is true. Polar bears, I was going to say solar. Polar bears have black skin, which helps them absorb and retain heat. Their fur is not actually white, but translucent, and it appears white due to light reflection. May, merciful God. Well, despite today being a special episode, reviewing the May 29, uh, 2nd May 29, uh, how will I call it now? Ascension of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We still have entertainment news for you. Before I start, let me introduce some latecomers that have shown up. Uh, Good morning, Omolara.
Good morning,
Omolara, how are
sir.
you? Good morning. The Yoruba will say, "Share oko ijepo." I hope this will not finish in the train. Good to see you. Good morning. And of course,
Thank you.
joining us, analyst and co-anchor. He lives in a very far place, so his own is understandable. Even the traffic can hold network in that area. It's great to have you this morning, Alex Ogundadegbe. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Lagos. It's great to be here.
Yes, yes, yes. We're glad to have you. Okay, as we look forward to others joining us, let's move on to entertainment news. Asife is here, Molara is here. So we'll start with Asife. I think we'll take it back and forth, back and forth. So we pick numbers that we can accommodate. Let's start with your number one, Asife.
Why I left Nollywood for the US Navy. Grace Charis Effa. Grace Charis Effa, formerly Belinda Effa, has revealed why she paused her Nollywood career to join the US Navy. In a chat with Saturday Beat, she admitted to struggling with identity and purpose, saying acting had become routine. I wasn't feeling impactful anymore, she shared, adding that the industry's shift from passion to profile left her unfulfilled.
From passion to profit. Well, any serious business, you always look at profit. Even as you have passion. Alex, that's not how we suffered in journalism. All we were doing was passion. And
In
and
fact,
we're thinking of profit.
between you and me, well, I'm telling the whole world now, that's one of the reasons why I left. You know,
I don't blame
passion,
you.
drive, at the end of the
I don't
day,
blame you.
uh,
You can't eat passion, man. You can't.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, it's true. So grace is a universal thing. You can find a way if you get a job, or you can synergize the two together. That would be great. That's living life. But you can't have passion and don't think of profit. Life will tell you otherwise. Okay, let's move on, Isife.
Pella to sue Pastor Kesiena Esiri over UTME claims.
God.
TikToker Pella is threatening to sue Pastor Kesiena Esiri of Remnant Christian Network for tagging him a bad influence. In a viral sermon, the pastor blamed Pella and his girlfriend, Jarvis, for promoting immorality and distracting teens, linking them to UTME failures. Pella denied the claims and accused Esiri of using his name to manipulate church members.
Well, Pella, we have to sue many people, because I'm supporting that pastor. Do you listen to that boy? It's very listenable at all. The way he speaks his English, and it's not as if he's acting. It doesn't look acting. It looks natural. He speaks
Yes.
terribly bad English. Not even the pidgin is bad. Everything is
Everything
bad.
is bad.
And I saw him one day in the school. I think he went back to his school, and the whole school was agog. They were so excited. They said, "Wow! So this guy can influence these people," and he speaks terribly bad English, terribly bad, and he says it, uncharacteristic. I mean, carelessly. He doesn't care, and his people loved him for that. you know. So there's a point in that, pastor, something. You're a bad influence to some people. Especially the young minds. God, they'll be speaking your style now, and they will think they will go and write it in the exam. And it's well, the young man is making his own money, and
Bill.
that's why he has time to sue. Just keep on speaking your grammar and making your money.
it
Yeah.
will be news
Uh,
when he really sues. The threats are not really an issue.
Mm, mm. Okay, okay, okay. Let's move on. Amolara is back with us. Lucifer?
Derele Edun. My work is underrated. Veteran showbiz personality Derele Edun says his decades of entertainment work remain unappreciated. He claimed to have pioneered Nigeria's red carpet culture, saying, "People now attend events just for the red carpet." Describing himself as a trendsetter and culture shaper, Demele insists his contributions are long overdue for proper recognition.
Properly so called is Den Relay Doom. Yeah.
Mm.
That guy is a spectacle on his own. This is,
His own work.
has he
it's
has he cut his hair? Has he cut his
I
hair?
don't know. I haven't seen him in a
No,
while.
I doubt.
I don't know. That's his shoes, his trousers. Yeah, it's a living caricature.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know. Well, that's some point in what he said. He made red carpets sort of intriguing. I don't know. I don't go to I don't like staying at the red carpet at all. So, uh, but for a lot of young people, I see that they love that and they made a lot of noise around it. And it was crazy about his showpiece. He's also like an entertainer.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, everybody can claim their a portion of the estate in Nigerian entertainment. Wow, let's move on. Let's see. Okay, we still have some stories.
Ira Star hits 1 billion YouTube views.
Hmm.
Ira Star has become the first Nigerian female artist to gross 1 billion views on YouTube. Her hit Rush alone boasts over 450 million views and earned her UK Platinum status. She joins the elite club of Afrobeat stars like Burna Boy and Wizkid, further expanding her global footprint with the 2025 single "Gimme That" featuring Wizkid.
Yeah,
Congrats, big
yeah. Well,
congrats.
later in the show, we are going to play "Give Me That." This is on my playlist today. I didn't even know that she's made that big. Yeah,
Small but
congratulations to
mighty.
her. It's a small but mighty, Abby.
Yes, now.
Small but mighty God, Abby.
Yes, so
Okay, let's take some from Molara. Molara, let's start with your sad intro.
Big Bolaji buried in Ibadan. Gospel
Okay.
singer
Good.
Big Bolaji was laid to rest in Ibadan after passing away on April 19 at age 50. The funeral service held at Jogo Center thrilled gospel music stars like Mike Abdul, Tosin B, Bidemi Olaoba, and Wole Agba. A moving tribute video was played during the service, left many emotional. He was buried at All Saints Private Cemetery today with family and loved ones in quiet reflection.
Yeah, that was a good show. I remember
Yeah.
it was one of our shows, a gospel music award that we had in 2014 or 15. Yeah, but, he was a good guy, and
Yeah.
it was big. You know, that
Yeah.
was a sad end. I saw his
During
brother
my
live. Yeah.
during my sojourn in Ghana, um, I was attending the Redeemed Church, and we were having a program. He once came there. Very
Mm.
lively, very energetic man.
Yeah.
So painful.
Yeah.
So painful.
Yeah. May his soul rest in peace, and we pray for fortitude for his loved ones left behind. Okay, let's go to the second story. Speed.
Speed Darlington is under probe. Speed Darlington is under investigation after a viral video showed him seemingly confessing to sleeping with a 15-year-old girl. The Lagos State DSV have launched a probe, calling the video disturbing. Though the incident reportedly happened a decade ago, agency says they will pursue the case thoroughly. Speed Darlington is no stranger to controversy involving minors.
Um, this social media generation, uh, they have a way of of committing serious issues and exposing themselves. It's a very queer way of life, and I believe the entire ecosystem of the social media is about karma. You know, they do things bad, they must video it to get engagement or traction or whatever, and the law should just keep on following them and effecting justice as the case may be. So, Darlington, you speedily see the way justice will move for you. Years after,
He's gonna give
10 years,
account.
you give account. You know, you give account. Uh, let's take the your story again.
Yinka Alasheyori welcomes baby boy. Gospel singer Adeyinka Alasheyori has welcomed the baby boy. She shared the joyful news on Facebook, posting photos and videos of her bump, expressing gratitude for a safe delivery. The journey of 40 weeks ended in praise, she wrote, thanking fans for their prayers and support.
Well, congratulations, congratulations. In this economy, to to give birth is not easy. Congratulations.
So,
You
So
know,
these are
congratulations.
the
Yes. Okay. Is if give us the Ngozi story.
Ngozi Ezionu dazzles at 60. Nollywood
Come again.
Ngozi Ezionu dazzles at 60.
Okay.
Nollywood veteran Ngozi Ezionu is trending after sharing stunning birthday photos to mark her 60th. Known for her elegance, Ngozi looked radiant in a white mesh mono-strap dress and soft glam makeup. Fans flooded social media, praising her timeless beauty and joyful presence. Happy
Well,
birthday.
happy, happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Alex, Ngozi used to look 60 in her in her in her flicks 20 years ago.
Yeah, they
20 years
almost, they almost made her a major character in that role of a
Yeah.
mother at that age. You know,
You know, you act a 60-year-old woman effortlessly 20 years ago. That's
Now
great.
reverse is the case.
That's great. What did you say?
I said now reverse is the
The reverse
case.
is the case. So in real life, she's just 60. Congratulations. Those are younger folks to them, Alex them. Eh? They are senior citizens of Nigeria. Okay. Um, let's see. Omolara, give us a Simi story.
Simi celebrates daughter at 5. Singer Simi and husband Adekunle Gold are celebrating their daughter Adejare's 5th birthday. Simi posted on Instagram saying, I have held and loved you with my eyes and arms for 5 years. God must really love me. Fans join in to wish the little one a happy birthday.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's lovely. Yeah, we haven't heard from Simi for quite a while. Uh, that's nice. And also her husband, Adekunle Gold, except some tweets in the Twitter that once in a while
Yeah.
lamenting the loss of his football team and all that. Okay, let's have. What do you have more there? Okay, the the fanciful story. Your JP 2025 updates. They have turned marriage into feature films. Nigeria. Go ahead.
JP 2025 grand finale. The star-studded finale of Priscilla Ojo and Juma Jukes wedding held in Tanzania this week. It's the third iconic celebration for the couple. Social media lit up with stunning photos as Tanzanian and Nigerian stars, including Funke Akindele, graced the lavish event.
Uh, Alex, I don't know if you watched some of the videos. They showed me
No,
one.
I didn't.
Oh
The only
my.
video I watched was a controversy about it. A woman, it wasn't a video really, it was a tweet. A woman warning the couple, especially the man, to be careful that Funke doesn't really love him. And Funke replied, it was something out of the ordinary. She just gave a short
Okay.
response. That was very
Okay.
shocking.
Okay. This is about the Priscilla Ojo and Juma Jokes wedding. The fun fair in Tanzania. It's not a wedding. It's a Grand Prix of fashion. Fashionistas went mad. There was this woman that saw the video, was talking to Yabojo and said, who was lavishly dressed. And when she moved away, Yabojo suddenly looked at her and was, wow. The culture, the carriage, every gbogbo, and as they say, is outstandingly extravagant. And there were all kinds of dresses, more like more like garnished peacocks and all that. It was incredible sight, and I laughed my head off. They just entertain us with all sorts of. Anyway, this time we need such things. We need such.
Yes, sir.
I wonder what the attraction to Tanzania is.
Anyway,
Now we think it's content, so they create content out of it.
well, love is universal. They want to they shared love across the border, and the young man fell in love with the young woman, and they moved. We just wish them the best of times. That all these Olojugongongong will not enter their marriage, and and they will live a very peaceful, quiet, and warm marriage, so that it doesn't become they don't turn their marriage into showbiz or into what do you call it? What did the Isife call it now? Sorry, Amolara call it now. Uh, I think it's like a fable, like a story, turn into social media grand finale. Okay. We can take one more from Isife.
Aduniade denies viral interview. Actress Aduniade has slammed a false report, quoting her as lamenting singlehood despite being too beautiful. She said she never gave such an interview and called out Instablog for spreading lies.
Uh,
Aduni, on Face, said she's focused on her career and kids, not chasing fame or clout.
Alex, see your people. They gave her interview, which she said she never conducted. She gave us interview, dialogue, discussions, lamentations, and everything, regrets. And I said, no, I never spoke with.
Wow. If that's true, that's amazing.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay. Oh, Nigeria. Uh, anyway, this bit, this is more interesting than reviewing Tinubu's Nigeria. You know, let me squeeze as much fun as I can before we move on to graver issues. Okay, Omolara, what is the difference between Jemima and Jene Mena? Where
So
all these
in the
names
process
from?
of compilation, I was checking and checking again.
Okay, please tell us the first story, Janemena.
Janamena reveals marriage crisis. Instagram dancer Janamena has revealed her husband almost filed for divorce in their first year of marriage. In a
Oh dear.
Oh, network has cut off. Omolara. Let me finish our stuff. Uh, it's in a where is it now? In a post with a throwback photo, she shared how refusing to end the friendship led to serious marital issues. Ironically, the same friend later disgraced her, making her wish she had listened to her husband. Uh, well, lesson learned. Uh, why do you uh, compare your husband to a friend? You know, a friend. You don't know whether it's Mayweather or fresh weather that she will be, and then the one that you have sworn to, for better for worse, live your entire life with, you ignore him. You know, thank God you learned quickly. Malara, sorry, it wasn't me. It was network that cut you off. If you are hearing me,
Yeah.
we have finished your
Okay.
story. So just say the last one, which is J another J something Jemima
Jemima
or something.
Osunde
Jemima.
once actress Jemima Osunde has urged fans to respect her space. She took to X.com to complain about a fan who filmed her without permission. I know everyone is a content creator now, she wrote, but please don't show the camera in my face. I'm begging you.
Well, they don't take your face to the public. If you are chosen the path of a celebrity, you can't escape that. They will shove the blessing on your face. Yeah, yeah, because you chose to bring your face to the screen, and they will help you amplify it. You know. Uh, well, he has joined us. Magisterially, he's worked in legal experts and social advocacy, social development advocates. Is here with us. Bosun or Osifowora. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Arch. Good morning, Mr. Arch. Good morning,
Good
Dr.
morning. We are hopeful that
Morning,
you'll be able to sort
you're
out
welcome.
the, the cackling noise that is coming from your end, from your microphone. Because we have a lot to talk about today about the administration of President Bola Tinubu, 2 years in the saddle. Okay. Uh, Plenty of thanks to Osifowora Ogundadegbe and Omolara Famuyua for the interesting entertainment news. We hope to see you next week. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
And thank you. Let's take a short break and come back to the men's table when we discuss national issues and national problems. While we are waiting, Burna Boy and Charlie Poppy sings Lahore. I think this is verse 2 or version 2 or something like that. But so are you there?
Fine, sir. Morning, sir.
How you there? And sorry for all the bad bones your people allowed you to suffer.
Mr. Alex,
Good morning, Aki.
Good morning, Uncle Fad. Bosun, good
How are
morning.
you?
thank you, Baba. Morning,
Abeg,
no.
good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, you're welcome.
Very good thing.
Did you guys see the list of achievements that I tried to outline? I put it on the portal.
Mhm.
WhatsApp.
I did. I looked at it.
Okay, that's a summary of the speech that the president made. I'm thinking maybe in our analysis we could use part of that. And there's an article from the Financial Times. I think it's
Yeah,
the
I said
Financial
it on the
Times.
group. I said it to Marcel Okeke. I need to read you his response.
Okay.
Is a hagiography and propaganda. That's what he called it.
What's funny about this, my people? If international newspapers say something nice, they carry it on their head like walk up. If they say otherwise, they'll say don't mind them.
Is that all right?
They're just very funny people.
I think they try to balance it. They try to look at the good sides and the bad sides in that article.
Yeah,
These
the
are
problem
length.
here is we don't want the bad side. You just want to paint the good and move on. When I don't understand.
We don't we don't want the bad side. We just want to move on. Oh, a few years ago, about a couple of years ago, I think after the military or just before the military, when I realized from exposure that some of these international bodies were paid, that they paid for supplements and all that, so they turned it to editorial and all that. I don't trust them a lot.
The fact is, we can see for ourselves. We don't need anybody to tell us what's going on. You know,
You know,
in our country now, we blind. We know
oh
what's
God.
working, what's not working. At this age, you don't know what's working.
Well, one observation I made about this administration is there's considerable effort to control the narrative. If you look at the number of aides and assistants who are working in the media office, you'll be amazed. And those are the ones we know. There are some that are appointed by them too, you know, that play roles on social media and other places. Uh, I think President Tinubu has realized that the media, he has always seen the media as a major influence on whatever he's doing.
Please let me remind Marcel. I can't
Well,
see him. 7
well, Alex, for me, with all the whole numbers in the media department, it's not showing at all. They're not doing a good job at all.
Not
They're
enough.
not doing
Okay,
a
I'm
good
going back. I'm going back on there. Okay, we are back. This is still the Vintage Talkshow with the Fahajan friends, and my friends are queuing up now. We have introduced Bosun Osifowora, and joining us is a commentator, Akin Akindamola Adeboye. I don't know why he has a full name like that. Good morning, Akin.
Good morning, Uncle Fudge.
It's great
How
to
are you,
have
sir?
you. Fine, thank
Yeah,
you.
great
We
to
are
be.
going to talk about the second anniversary of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. 2 days ago, he celebrated it with a long speech, which I could extract some part of the speech, and how will I call it? It was essentially praising in himself. Incredible milestones they've achieved today: the GDP, the fiscal policy, the tax reforms, the increase in reserve, forex reserve, and so on and so forth. We'll come to that. We're expecting some guests to talk about the economic aspects and the governance issue uh, throughout today. But the floor is always open for you out there to contribute your views, to share with us your thoughts. What do you think? Like I asked, I made some questions earlier at the beginning of the program. What does life and living been like for you since the coming of Tinubu? And how has Tinubu impacted your life, your career, or your business? So you can share your thoughts with us. And always remember, yeah, we're here for you to engage with you. The number to call is 0913 697 3485. 0913 And if it's SMS or WhatsApp that's your thing, number is 0810 713 7559. 0810 713 7559. While we await our guests, I'd like to ask us. We are all, like Bosun said earlier, we don't need foreigners to give us the metrics and dynamics of what is happening to us. We can feel it, we know it. So, gentlemen, I want to ask you, jokes apart, how has Tinubu's the 2 year Tinubu have been to you in a rather very clear and precise way? No, no, what do I call it? No,
No
uh,
Embellishment.
embellishment.
no profanities. Just be say it nicely, even if it is badly. You know. Yes. Let me hear your views, gentlemen.
Well, if I can start from my end,
Start.
I feel it's not balanced, and there's a whole lot of struggle. It, it strikes me like an art student who found himself in a science class. It, there's a whole lot of struggle here. Now, I'm a fan of the president. I'm not an apologist, but I'm a fan. But there are areas where he's done fantastically well, and there are areas that it's a whole lot of struggle. Because the reason why I gave that analogy was I remember when I was moving from the junior class to the SS class, I knew I wanted law from primary school, but in a space of 6 hours, I saw three elderly persons who told me that I will be a good engineer. And I'm like, okay, voice of the people is voice of. So the next day I went to the science class. Unfortunately, it was physics. And the only thing I remember to today was the topic, and it was motion. My head was in motion. I didn't gain nothing. Nobody told me before I moved my desk back. So as the president found himself where he didn't belong. In some areas, he made fantastic stride. When I got back to arts class, till I got to to my WAEC, I A1 in government because that's my strength. So the president has got his strength and he's got his weaknesses in some areas. Number one, let me talk about the good side. One of the things that is outstanding and a good point for this administration is the education fund. I mean, it's
Mm,
almost speaking like Awolowo's free education kind of thing. How they want to recoup the money from a student, I don't know. But it's a good selling point for the president. The one is even extended to the technical schools. And then the turnout, the students are beginning to see him in a different light than they've
mm,
seen administration. So that educational fund is a massive for the government, and it's a good cushioning for the operating economy. That I mean, I'll give it to him 100%. The other side also that they're trying to do well is road transportation, but it's still a 50-50 thing. There's a whole lot of struggle in that area, but I mean, you could see upward movement in that. The only one that I'm going to score you an F is security.
mm,
It is bad. It is bad. Kidnapping has come to the streets of like we see on the streets. And I met
mm,
someone yesterday who told me her sister was kidnapped here in mainland. They had to pay
wow.
30. You know what's funny about the kidnap? The person is in the force.
Wow.
Yes, that bad. So I've not even gone to banditry and up north. I'm talking through Lagos. So
Wow.
on it's bad. It's a low, low, low. You see, everything rises and falls with security. No matter the prosperity, no matter how well people are doing, if you can't sleep with your two eyes open, you are open to a lot of things, from high BP to all kinds of health problems. Because if I'm eating good food and I can't go back and sleep well, the good food will not find where to land. So on
Mhm.
security, the president needs to stand up. He needs to come up with a definite plan. The way he came out with education. That's just how far I can go. Let me leave the space for others.
Okay, before they fill the space, I just want to interject. I like the idea about declaring free tuition, free accommodation, feeding, and even some allowances to students of technical colleges. I mean, because we were talking about transfer, the technology, the transfer in terms of getting self-employment, being employable, and all that. That's the way to go. Increasing inputs and budget for technical education and all that. I think we should go further for and deal with advanced technology and computerization. Yes, gentlemen, go on.
Well, I'd like to add to what Bosun has said. Yeah, the issue of security, no doubt, is a big issue that needs to be tackled. And with urgency, I don't see the urgency in this administration. I'm sorry to say. Now, from security, I will move to just one area that is of great concern to me. That's the cost of living. Looking at food prices, looking at how much it costs to transport people and goods around the country. Within the 2 years that President Tinubu has taken over, we've seen a leap in prices. We've seen the cost of living go up astronomically. And I dare say we've not really seen efforts.
Yeah, Alex is having problem with his network,
Uh,
and this is not from Abuja. This is not from the presidency. Okay, Aki,
uh,
I think you
yeah,
can fill in the space.
yeah, yeah. For me, um, I, I I like balancing things a lot, and I like looking behind the scene at what is happening. Um, Bosun talked about security the other time, and there are three items on my list, and he just took out one of them. I just took out one of them: food, security, then electricity, light.
Mm.
Those are the three key areas for me. And the like Bosun has said, the the government is not doing well at all in all these areas. They are not doing well at all, and I think the president have left things to politics to run things for too long in those areas, because I believe if someone is not competent in his area or the area you appointed him to, you take him out. But a lot of politics is being played so that second time we come in first. I don't know how far that will take him, and maybe he will be able to do something. Because on security, it's not rocket science that banditry and kidnapping has taken over all over, just like person has said. And there was a state here when Babatunde Raji Fashola was the governor of Lagos State, and we could feel his impact in the area of security. And as in Lagos was watertight. And if kidnapping has come to the streets of Lagos, that says something, a lot. Maybe someone who is not doing enough, Maybe we should say that, but uh, even the federal government, even where they are supposed to have the strength, that is maybe in the northern part of the country, we are not seeing anything. Yes, they are trying. They are, and a lot of shenanigans is being involved. Again, in the area of food, I think we need someone like the now the former African Development Bank's president to undo a specialist in the area of food, because how can we have people buy up food on the streets and then hoard them so that prices will go up? And these things they are not done by spirits; they are done by next door neighbors. Someone was complaining that rice was 100,000 naira a bag, and what we call a drika was 1,002. Now rice is about 65, between 60 to the range of 65 to 70, 75, and the drika still remains 1,002.
Hmm.
And this speaks to the character of our people, because everything we blame government. This speaks to the a Tinubu will not go and buy a bag of rice and start reselling. It's our people. And we are doing this to ourselves. And it happens day in, day out. And we can't call out ourselves. Again, in the area of electricity, that is the worst area it's even worse than security. I can tell you. Because it, in this age, you can't bet that you have even 10 hours light. You can't, and you pay. You pay for the same thing.
Hmm.
And I think because people have reduced us to at Christmas, they just collect money that they've not worked. People that you sold the distribution company to, what are they doing with the money? Billions, trillions of money every day, in, day out. I mean,
Uh,
Sorry,
yes.
can I quickly comment on something, please?
yes, sir.
Okay, please
So,
do.
Look at it. The earning. In fact, if we reduce it to the five basic needs by Maslow,
yeah,
by now we're looking at something higher. But if you look at food, you look at security, you look at earning power, you look at shelter. If we decide to score the president on all these things, and maybe to the five we might add education, it's uh, it's not a very fancy scorecard because
maybe
the earning power of the average Nigerian has not moved up.
mm,
It's
at all,
low. And that
at all.
has,
Let,
in fact, that has brought something unintended consequence on even those who have the money. The way
Mm-hmm.
people beg now, it's not. I saw somebody say something that the president has reduced Nigerians to beggars. People
Vegas.
have always begged, but I think is on the increase. And this time around, you can't ignore. Now, I was telling a friend of mine yesterday that, if somebody begged you for money on the street before, you could give 500, 1,000. Right now, the 1,000 can't really go far.
hmm.
So
Hmm.
I see people buy food for kids to take to school. With 1,500, you can have a decent meal.
Mm-hmm.
These are
Let me
things
give
to lose. Mr.
let me
Alex,
give you a personal experience. Yesterday, well, my wife was planning that she would need about 8,000, 10,000 to buy pepper and all that stuff, so we can do some stuff and make a meal or two for the family. And by the time we returned from market, our face had turned red. Yeah, she has spent 23,000. 23,000 for what you wanted to spend 8,000, 10,000
8,000 naira. Wow.
a meal for a day or two. It's incredible. And we were just complaining throughout. How can it be so? How can it be so? As we are complaining, the sellers too are complaining. All of us are complainants now. Eh, wow. Okay. Alex, you're welcome back. Uh, we said what stopped you was not the fight from the presidency, so it must have been the network providers. Are you are you ready to continue?
He stopped at
Hey,
cost
yeah,
of.
I'm not
they,
sure about my connection.
yes, we can hear you. Well, at least your mouth is moving. Now it's for you to talk, so you can hear. Oh my. Okay. Yes, but we'll continue. Maybe Alex will be able to speak up. I don't know what
Yeah,
stopped you.
so
Okay.
what I was saying,
Keep on saying
Wow.
it, please. It will come out.
No,
Oh,
Uncle Fat,
yeah, what I was
just
saying
wow.
is that the cost of living, the cost of food
mm,
prices had gone up. They went of the administration of the president. And apart from rice, I don't know how it was done. The cost of rice came down. Perhaps it was because they opened the borders to rice.
Mm-hmm. Wow. We lost it.
I think on that rice issue, it's very simple to understand. Let me tell you what I feel. They open the borders and allow them to bring in imported rice. Now, but I think those who have left the price as it is, I think Aki was talking about the Derica price. The reason is
Yeah.
this: very sure about how stable the government policy is. That's why people have refused to reduce, even when they have surplus, to reduce the prices, because tomorrow they can close the border. So whatever you have, you just keep it. If they are sure that these things will remain open for the next 1, 2 years, you can plan on it. But it's very hard to plan. Uncle Fad gave a personal experience. Let me just give you one. On Sunday, we normally stop at where we're coming from church. We normally stop, the kids and I, we stop at a particular place on Bank Anthony to buy things. Just normal things that kids eat, like what you over call wusi wusi, that kind of thing. So,
mm,
so when they get there, they just pick, 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 pick. So I told their mom that whatever happens, it's 50K that it will not, I will drop 50K 100 naira. The sister accepted. By the time we came out, she had spent 180. I just scrolled away from them. I didn't need it. I quickly transferred. Because twice they said, bring it card. I'll transfer the money. They did 180, the two nylons. Two nylons.
wow.
So
Wow.
it's bad.
Where we can see
Bosun,
from
it's
Alex's experience that is not only cost of living, cost of data, cost of service,
That's
the quality
secondary
of
needs.
service.
Basic needs.
these are basic needs. Sir.
Okay.
Just last week, like I
Okay.
was trying to.
Okay. Well, while we try
Can you
to
hear me,
sort
sir?
out our technical issues here, let's take a short break. We'll come back. Aki will come back to hear you. And then let's see. We say Ara Star with that crowd pulling track, Give Me That, featuring Whiskey. Is our next music. Oh my. Alex, are
Me,
you here? Aki, I'll call you when we resume.
me that put myself in trouble. This-
From, from 50 to 180. Two
that one,
down.
Uncle Fad, let me tell you where we have entered trouble. For the past 10 years, my mom passed as a Christian, but I normally buy ram. She just like the layer thing. She's from a Muslim background, so I buy ram every year just for her to kill and give the people. So when she passed, the people there now told me that Shebro, my mama Paleya. I said no problem. That I will buy the ram. Somebody is still there. That's how I went to price ram this week. A normal
800.
ram, it's like a ram, is by 650 above.
Six.
How I will go back and tell them, hey, this layer
This year will be different too.
say, I'm giving my words this time to go and recant as ever been. The reason why I could bring it is no longer there.
But go and buy a goat. Go and buy a goat.
Go to Oleya.
Go and buy a goat. Go and buy a goat.
Go to no go there.
Go and buy a goat. No, that you can see a goat for 100, between 100 and 150. That is very big. Go and buy a goat.
Are you
Are you
sure?
Yeah. Yes. A goat. Obuko.
Now those black
Go
ones.
and buy one. You go and you do as soon. You it's ingenuity. With 200, you do plenty as soon. You share for everybody.
Okay.
It's now you are not
Ranking. Shebi JJ, I went to give them my words.
You can remove your words now.
Because you are even saying 650. The one I saw was 800.
I said the one that looks there.
Yeah, okay. That's what we call our kuru.
Spend that on fairly used cars, though.
Fairly used ram to buy. Oh my God. And you know, schools too have increased their fees. And when you're concerned later in view of the economic, the guy who told you go there and say, hey, okay.
Yeah, well, they have to make up, but they have to make up for the cost of the high standard of the cost.
Oh, all right, it's last.
No, we will adjust. We are always adjusting. We will adjust. We are always adjusting. We adjust.
Well, one of the advantages of old age is that you don't have to pay. You don't pay for school fees again.
Hey.
So, I've escaped that wickedness.
No, Papa,
you don't know what
you know it's relative. You know it's relative. It's by choice.
What is it relative?
No, it's by choice. No,
I'm
it's by
not saying
choice.
anything again, except those that I adopt or I want to help.
That's what I'm saying. It's by choice.
Oh my!
It's by choice.
Okay. Let's get back. Our guest is having a problem getting in. Okay, I think we're trying to get in now. Yes. Chief Marcel okay. Good morning.
I think I've arrived finally.
Finally, we have been waiting for you for more than 30 minutes. What happened?
Is your technology? The thing said that the host will admit me, and I was waiting endlessly.
It didn't show here. It didn't show here.
He said the host will allow me in. Well done.
Thank
Okay.
you. Okay, you're here now. So we'll will
Yeah.
join you. Gentlemen, this is okay, you remember.
Good morning, Chief.
Our economy
Good
guru.
morning.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, my friends. Good morning, my friends. And welcome to the last day in May 2025.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
The year is racing.
Mm,
Seriously.
mm. Tomorrow will be June 1.
Mm.
Okay, I'm launching. Yeah, we're back and we're discussing and reviewing and lamenting and praising where where it works. The 2 years of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president of Nigeria in a tumultuous period. Cost of living, uh, they're banding some fanciful statistics about the upscale in the economic mindset and all that. And some of us are lamenting the cost of living, what the home is saying, what the markets are saying, especially the market, the edible market, not the one that they use on the internet and all that to trade with. Well, we have our guest is here, and we're glad to have him here. Yeah, he's exquisitely, eminently uh, privileged. Speak to this situation as we speak. They were former editor of the Funk Business Concord, former business editor of the Punch, former member of the editorial board of the Guardian newspapers. He was former chief economist and group head research and economic intelligence of Zenith Bank, and currently the lead consultant and CEO at Mascot Consult and Communications Limited. Great to have you this morning, Marcel. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Fudge, and the team. And thank you very much for having me on this program.
Yes, we are you are a listener on this program. You will have heard that voice before, and you know he shoots straight from the hip. He doesn't what our people call, he doesn't commingle facts with untruth. So, Chief, let's look at the 2 years of Tinubu administration. Yeah, in his May 29th speech, he raised some interesting and frankly heartwarming data of how it has positioned the economy. That in spite of the grinding pain and high cost of living, that joy is coming, and that enjoyment is coming. You know, how will you how will you rate the president's statements and the reality of where we are living?
Okay. Thank you very much for this question. I am not good at rating people or presidents. I would rather prefer to throw up some of the issues and some of the figures and discuss them. And then the important thing is to ask, are we really better off 2 years down the line? So that's the indicator. The people's well-being. That's what government and governance is all about. Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed when I looked at the papers, both online and offline yesterday, 29th of May, no, the day before yesterday, 29th of May, practically all the spaces and everywhere was taken up by advertisement from the presidency, pushing out all kinds of figures, to support that a lot has been happening. Yes, a lot has been happening. And I summarize it by saying there were a lot of motions all over the place, but little movement. Okay. Something like minimum wage. Let me start from the minimum, that is even the smallest. Minimum wage. It was included there as part of the achievement of the government. Okay. But when you look at the important thing in economics is the what. of what you are showing, the worth of the figure. Okay? Now, if you contextualize it, because that money, the minimum wage, is to be paid to people. If you now look at it in by 2023, they were paying 30,000. Okay, if you change that amount to the stable currency that we all know, dollar, at the ruling rate at that time, which is 468 or thereabout, you get $64. Okay, now 2 years down the line, we are paying, the government says it's paying 70,000. If you now work on it or work it out to get what is worth today, it is worth about 46,000. If you convert at 1,520. So the person that was getting 64,000 or $64 per month in 2023 will now be getting only $46. That one alone. What has happened? Okay, and the person is still living within this economy, and you know the role of dollar in this economy. That's on one hand. On the other hand, you now look at the key policies of the government. One, fuel subsidy removal. What did it lead to? What did it result into? Fuel subsidy removal. The price of everything, I say everything, went sky high. Not double, not triple, quadruple in some cases. Okay? For example, let us speak fuel, which we are talking about. By 2023, May 2023, it was still below 200 naira per liter. Okay? As we speak now, it's hovering around 1,000 naira. How many times is that? Is it not about 5 times? Okay, and that is the way the price of everything has gone up. Okay, you are talking about food, you are talking about house rent, you are talking about the things you put on, your apparel, you are talking about anything and everything under the sun has gone up like that. So why are we celebrating? And the president is telling us that the El Dorado will soon be here. You ask a big question, how soon? It's important. Yes, because when you have hope, let it not be an indefinite hope, indefinite one. When? Now, nobody has ever told us it's 1 month. Nobody has told us it's 6 months. Nobody has told us it's 1 year. Okay? Because the same statement was made when the administration turned 1 year. And they said, don't worry, very soon. How soon is a very soon? I have mentioned prices now. Let us also talk about the other policy, which is exchange rate unification. You unified everything. The Central Bank of Nigeria did that in June 2023. Okay, and has consistently been raising what we call monetary policy rate. Monetary policy rate. That's interest rate that is want the bank to be charging from about 18% in that 2023 to what it is today has been like that since November last year, 27.5. So if you check, it's at almost 10% jump in just 2 years. Okay. Now let me tell you what happened. Because of that high interest regime, which the central bank says is using to fight inflation, okay, it has been offering what I can call mouth-watering rates in trying to attract foreign investment. You understand? But what it has been attracting is foreign portfolio investment. Because given other conditions on ground here, nobody wants to really invest in the real economy, what we call the real economy. They rather invest in what we call government securities. You understand? That is treasury bills, bonds, and all that. So, as the government was also flouting, that's what they were showing in the 2-year update. They were also showing that a certain volume of external reserve has been raised. Now, you check the composition of the external reserve, you find out that a huge chunk of it is what it came in by foreign portfolio investment. And that is why the foreign exchange market has not attained stability. Because what you get from foreign portfolio investment is what is called hot money. They are investors from all over the world. So their money stays very short term and they take it and move to another location. And that is why everything, the volatility in the macro economy has been sustained. You understand? So what are we talking about? And so now you are getting foreign portfolio investors. You are killing local industries because you have priced money, you have priced capital, above, beyond them. They cannot access it. When you check the number of small and medium scale industries that have died, have gone under, and those who have scaled down their level of operation in the past 2 years, then you see the harm that's been done. Because the effective interest rate in the financial system now is within 35 to 37 to 40% per annum. Who is in a business that can borrow money at that rate and still survive? You understand? And that is the environment in which we are operating. And so those are the things they are celebrating 2 years after. So what is there to be celebrated? Now, let me also tell you, let me make this statement. I want to quote distinguished Senator Adam Oshomole. Adam Oshomole once said that whenever, the World Bank and IMF, the Bretton Woods institutions are clapping for Nigeria, anything we are doing, then you will know that there's danger in the land. That's what Adam Oshomole said. And these institutions have been clapping for us. Okay, including the report or the editorial written by I don't know whether it's Financial Times. I thank God that in that editorial, the Financial Times recognized the fact that no gains from the reforms has gotten down. The gains has not gotten down to the people in Nigeria, especially the average Nigerian is not yet benefiting from the reforms. That editorial says so. But then generally you ask who is benefiting. Okay, that is why every bond issue, every treasury issue by the government is oversubscribed, because that's the kind of investment people would like to make, rather than putting anything on ground because of other factors on ground, such as insecurity and policy somersault. So they will now cling to those financial instruments and invest there, and government will be parading it as achievement. No, it is because people are afraid of any other kind of investment. That is why they are flocking to those instruments, which will be now oversubscribed several times. And government will be showing us that as achievement. It's not achievement, it's flight to safety. It's flight to safety. You understand? Then you ask yourself, within those 2 years, how many companies, how many multinationals have left this environment? You can't count it. Whether you talk about Procter & Gamble, whether you talk about the international oil companies, whether I talk about the GSK, and so on and so forth. Many of them have left. And why did they leave? They will always tell you it's because of the negative effect of the policies. That's why they're leaving. Companies that used to be so profitable, all of a sudden have turned to be, huge loss makers within this economy. Did the government say anything about this? In the record they were flaunting, on May 29. They will say so. So, by and large, there's really nothing to celebrate. But I will say that if I were in government and I was one of them, yes, you can't keep quiet. You must show something. But at the end of the day, the barometer for measuring, their success is you and I. How far better have we fared in the past 2 years? Okay, who is in Nigeria that is celebrating? And that is why the other leg of it is Japan phenomenon. Go and see what is happening in the various embassies. Nigerians that are running away, okay, or those who are being deported, including the people from the US and some other parts of Africa being pushed back to Nigeria, and so on and so forth. So really, all we can celebrate is that thank God we are still alive, in these past 2 years. And we hope that we continue to be alive, no matter how tough the situation gets. But as for the El Dorado the government is talking about, my knowledge of economics and all other things that I know about this economy is not showing me yet that we are almost out of the woods. Thank you.
Okay, Master. While we are at it, there is we'll take a short break. Before the break, I would like to draw your mind to some aspect of the May 29 declaration, I should say, of hope by the president. And I want to ask, when he said something like that about the tax reforms and then essential goods services such as food, education, and healthcare will no longer attract VAT percentage, including rent, public transportation, and renewable energy. All will be exempted from the VAT to, to reduce household costs, according to the president. Will that not impact subsequently the cost of living of the average Nigerian? We'll take a short break and come back. It's going in and out. I hope you're still with us. Join us as a public affairs analyst, Are Oladende Ario. Good morning, Are.
Good morning, brother.
Okay, we'll take a short break and come back and talk about political economy and governance in the 2 years of President uh, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Nigeria. Well, when there is life, there is hope. So let's listen to Sarkodie featuring Black Sherif. You say countryside. That's our side. Good morning, Arem. What happened? It was supposed to be 8 o'clock. Everybody was late today. It's gone on. Mhm.
Hello,
Something's wrong. Something wrong with your network.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. The volume from your end is not so loud. I was trying to see if I can play with it here, but I'm not getting it. But I will manage.
Oh, okay. I was saying
Mm.
we were expecting you 8 o'clock. We
And
didn't.
me,
We didn't.
the devil planted 10 a.m. on my mind. I think mo ti ń pọ̀ ju mo dẹ̀ ń ṣeré ni. Bí mo ní kí n lọ wẹ̀ mo ní kí n lọ wẹ̀ ní èdè nítorí mẹ́sàgì yẹn pé ibo ni mo wà. You know I responded. Ah,
Oh
àfi
man,
sùúrù.
Amizuru.
I
Okay.
now wake up ní pé 7 to 9 ní program yẹn. You
Yeah.
know.
Okay. We'll be back when we come back on air. Marcel will answer my question, and then we take some governance issues with you.
No problem.
We are back, and this is still the Vintage Talk Show, and we've been chatting with Marcel Okeke, economic guru, and on the auspicious occasion, I believe, the second anniversary of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nigeria's president, who is dealing with Nigeria's multifaceted problems. And the report we are getting from Marcel is not heartwarming. So we asked, with all the policy reforms that the president is throwing in for this year, exemptions from VAT for public transportation, for rents, and such financial inputs that will ease somewhat the pain of Nigerians, the average Nigerian. So I ask Marcel, will this work?
Thank you, Fudge. Well, I think you are the one I will ask now. Will those work? Those promises, because they are still promises. It's like campaign promises again. The government is still making promises 2 years down the line. Let me tell you, those things are like the palliatives for which this government is known. Palliatives, okay? Because the main problem came about because of the initial policy. You now ask, have those problems brought about by the first policies been solved? Have they been addressed? Because the first policy is fuel subsidy removal, okay, and unification of exchange rates. That's what crashed our naira and brought it to nothing. Our naira is worth nothing, okay? Then the removal of fuel subsidy, which moved the price of everything sky high, has that been addressed? Can you believe it? That 2 years down the line, the government will still sustain licensing people who are importing PMS, for example, premium motor spirit. Okay? And you and I know, I don't have to mention it, the Pyrrhic victory that Dangote refinery kind of achieved. It battled the officialdom who put all kinds of hurdles, all kinds of obstacles, even to the point of sabotage, and Dangote refinery had to go through all that to come into existence, you understand, and to be operating the way it's operating today. Now, the government gave out licenses, I don't know the number now, of people or organizations to set up local refineries. Do you know, among this number that is up to 10, up to 15, it's only Dangote refinery that was able to overcome those hurdles, man-made obstacles, hurdles, by people in government to come into existence. Where are the rest? The other people that got the licenses. The system did not allow them to come into existence. Okay? So government is not encouraging people to keep importing. Why will we be importing when we have all it takes here to refine crude? That's the question you ask. And now, instead of addressing this, government is now telling us, you will enter public transport free of charge, you are going to do this one free of charge. Those things are palliatives. Address the main issue. If you address the main issue and the price per liter that moved from below 200 naira in May 2023, if the price per liter can come down to 500, for example, then what are you talking about? You don't even need to do any other thing. Everything will start coming down and our life will come back to normal. You understand? And that hope we are talking about, we now know is being realized. All these other things they are mentioning, which you are counting here, are palliatives. The main issue has not been addressed. On the other hand, that is the crash of the naira. Is because of the supply of foreign exchange. As we speak now, there is no way foreign exchange will pour in. Because let me tell you, for example, you know that this year's budget is based on the assumption of $75 per barrel of crude. That's what we'll be selling. Do you know? Do you know that all this time so far this year, especially since Donald Trump, took his office, the price per liter has come below $65 per barrel. So what does that mean? It means that we're incurring more deficit in the budget. There's no way we can meet the expected inflow from the crude oil sale. Let me also tell you, the budget is based on 2.06 million barrels per day. Do you understand? 2.06 million barrels per day. But do you know that the latest figure we have is about 1.5 million barrels as of March and April? Do you understand? So do you see the gap now? And then when you come on ground where you are getting this crude oil, you see insecurity, you see all kinds of youth restiveness, you see sabotage, you see vandalism everywhere. So what gives you the hope that the expected inflow will come from these sources? And for us to walk to the El Dorado we're talking about, you know. So some of us know the difference between propaganda and reality. I am trying to tell you the reality. I don't flow with propaganda. So that's the way it is. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Marcel. Let me swerve to Are Aladende Rio. Yeah, for many years, public affairs analyst, and you're a man about town across this country and all that. And we are talking about President Tinubu's moves and actions in the past 2 years. How he has affected the Nigerian people. We ask questions. Has our life changed? Has it got better? Has our business got better? Is there prospect for us that things will get better in the past, based on the past 2 years? What do you see? Do you see lights beyond the darkness? Do you see hope after the tunnel? What do you see in terms of reviewing these 2 years of President
All right.
Tinubu?
Thank you very much. Let me quickly correct you. We are not in a tunnel. We are in a dungeon. It's only when we are in a tunnel that can be light at the end of the tunnel. But when we are in a dungeon, then you are done for. As it is, we are done for in Nigeria. I saw a report yesterday where government was saying that the OSHA index is now 410,000 as against 50,000 naira. That market capitalization is now 69.4 trillion as against 30 trillion. Minimum wage has moved from 30K to 70K, and in some states they are paying up to 85,000 naira. Then they've introduced interest-free students loan, and of course, the subsidy removal has brought about phenomenal revenue increase. The question is, in what ways has this impacted the average man on the street? When subsidy removal immediately shut up the cost of virtually everything, including dying. Because if you need to buy a drug and you can't afford it, then the person is sure to die a painful death. Apart from that, the way the subsidy was removed will show that it was not well thought out. You don't come into a new office without studying and understanding the nitty-gritty of the office, the basic working relationships of factors, and just say subsidy is gone. Subsidy on petrol was so critical that it shouldn't have been announced in such a flippant manner less than 24 hours after being sworn into office. As the last speaker said, the twin action of subsidy removal and collapse of the forex structure into one helped to shoot the cost of living up. But now, instead of having manageable inflation, we have a stagflation. Things are stagnant while the costs are going up. Quality of life also was going down. The same way that Naira has been weakened, he has said it all on why things are not working. But I'm saying that all the economic policies are not working. You don't need a soothsayer or a prophet or somebody with a PhD in economics to understand these things. When they produce a banana in Ado-Ekiti and they have to bring it to Lagos, they will be paying heavily. In fact, the person who bought the banana from the farmer in Ado-Ekiti will be paying more than the cost of the banana. The cost of transportation will be far more than the cost of the item. So by the time the banana get to Lagos, you now start buying banana, a bunch of banana, less than 10 pieces for 1,500 naira. Whereas at source, might have been bought for 500 naira. Now, mobility is an essential part of humanity. Nobody is static. We move from point A to point B and further. But when you now make movement so costly, I cannot remember, excuse me, I cannot remember when last I drove my car. Why? Anytime I have to go out, I do cost analysis, which is cheaper, which is better. And it's always public transport, public transport. With all my education at my age, I should not be jumping keke, okada, and buses. No, I have vehicles. I cannot drive them because I cannot afford to fuel them. And if for any reason your vehicle should break down, before you easily get mechanics to fix things for 1,000, 2, 3, max 5,000. Today, when the fan belt of my Hyundai Jeep got caught, they sold fan belts to me for 25,000 naira. Whether they were cheating me or not, what choices do I have? I was stranded. Okay, and this is what you face everywhere. People just charge. They're not charging realistic rates. They are charging you their own cost of replacement or survival. No economy runs this way. It is never done. In Iran, the cost of petrol is less than 35 naira. I have repeatedly asked the government to send experts, technocrats there, to go and understudy Iran, see how they are managing, see what they are doing right that we are not doing here. Each time Dangote says is reducing price, I don't get phased because for me, what we are paying, it is not the right price. Nobody has the matrix or the metrics of how they arrived at the price we are paying. If we know the metrics, we cannot tell them, no, it is not right. But we don't know because they said it's 700,000 today, tomorrow 800. And they're not thinking of people who are in that trade, those who run petrol stations. Now, if, for instance, yesterday you collected 50,000 liters at 700 naira per liter, and you wake up, they said it's now 650. That means you've already incurred the loss of 50 naira per liter. That gives us what I call a Tokunbo economy, yo-yo economy, very, very unstable price index. That person will have already lost 50 naira times 50,000 liters that he has in his well. And that's why today, according to reports anyway, they said over 10,000 petrol stations have shut down. And I think it should be more. Because the rate at which, these things are happening, nobody can determine. Secondly, there's a place in our law that does not permit an individual to own any infrastructure that will give him the strength, the power, and the authority to influence price and supply. But Dangote has that now. It dictates the price. Both the importers and whoever, everybody dances to it. And this time they say they have removed 15,000 naira. And people are laughing. I'm sorry for them because soon again it will go back. How do you plan as an industrialist? How do you project your expenditure pattern when your costs are not easily determinable? When the rate of variation is so terrible that even if you're a magician, you need to be consulting your magic god. So these are places where I disagree with the government. When you look at the student loans that they say they introduced, it was not properly figured out. That's why today they said vice president of university cornered over 70% of the money. There's a massive investigation now and probe going on by EFCC. The question is, how far can EFCC go? The students who need the loan, time is running against them. So we cannot continue running the country. Nigeria is too big and it's too strategic to be operated on this flip-flop economic model that we are running. There was a time here when you are sure of the price of what you are buying, but today you may buy an item in the morning for 10 naira. By the time you go back in the evening, they tell you it's now 20 naira. And they will tell you it's not their fault, it's exchange rate, it's that rate, it's because of fuel and all that. These are not very helpful at all. And I remember that the president promised to utilize our gas resources. We are still flaring gas massively. If you doubt me, go to Niger Delta. Whereas expert report said we are more of a gas country than oil country, meaning we have more of gas. And since Oloibiri 1951, if my figures are right, we've been wasting our gas resources. Why can't we pay attention to that and say enough is enough? 2 weekends ago, I had an event in Uzoro, in Soko land in Delta State. I could not go. Why? I was not sure of my safety and security. At my age, if they should capture me, the beating alone will send me to my early grave. And these things, they've continued. As if people don't, God knows in power, they do not know. Painfully, each time anybody says anything against the government, they come after you, they call you names. Nobody has been spared, including Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, an eminently qualified former president of Nigeria, who should know. The other day it was General Shola Williams that spoke. Of course, he was insulted. Even Adeshino, the erstwhile chairman of African Development Bank, the moment he dared say things that the government didn't like, they hammered him. They were now comparing him with some lousy politicians. This is not right. Nigeria is about all of us. Nigeria belongs to all of us. Nobody is more Nigerian than the other people. It's a joint interest. We both own Nigeria. The fact that you are empowered with our votes to take charge of our affairs does not confer on you God's wisdom, whereby you know it all and everything you say comes with perfection. No, especially when it is obvious that life has become a nightmare in Nigeria. School fees have become unaffordable. Private school owners, they have to jack up because they have to pay more salary and pay more expenditure. My daughter attended the school where they were enjoying AC. That school, no, they don't even put on fan anymore. They open windows because they cannot afford to buy diesel for generator. And if they do, it will run down the economy of the school. Whereas the parents have a limit to what they can pay. So we can go on and on. The optics are not good. But government has to go back to the drawing board. Tinker with their economic policies, specifics. If they need people that are competent Nigerians, home and abroad, that are willing to come and sit with them free of charge, whereby we shouldn't be poor in the midst of plenty as it is now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Professionals and technocrats are passionate about Nigeria's survival. Okay, as we wrap the event today or the program today, I wish we could go on even on until next week. It's sobering and clear-headed. So, Marcel, your last take as we wrap up the program. What will you advise President Tinubu for the next 2 years?
Okay, thank you very much. Before I would offer my counsel, there is a World Bank report.
Hello, that's for Marcel. That's for. I'll
come
back to you.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. We really have to go back to the basics. We know that where we are today, was triggered up by the initial policies, fuel subsidy withdrawal, and exchange rate unification. Okay, so if we go back to that, we have to address, the issue of fuel supply, which means local refining. it should be devoid of politics. It should be addressed as a business. And rather than licensing multiple to be important, let government and government people allow local refineries to flourish. You understand? So that the so-called the real market forces will now come into play, demand and supply. You understand? So this issue of saying raise the price of fuel because of neighboring countries and all that is self-indicted. Whatever we have to do about our boundaries, our neighboring countries, for them not to be getting what they should not be getting from us, we have to do that and secure our country and enjoy what God has endowed us with. You understand? Yeah. So the issue of punishing ourselves is like cutting our nose to spite ourselves just because of our neighbors who are getting what they are getting. Our boundaries should not allow to be porous. So the issue of smuggling or whatever it is called should be properly tackled. So Nigeria will enjoy the gift of nature that we are. We are blessed with. That is one. So diversification. Are you hearing me?
Now I can hear you.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can now.
And not depend only on oil. There are a lot of things we can do here, including a lot of solid minerals that we can begin to mine. Well, somehow Dele Alake appears to be doing something in the solid mineral sector. That should be emphasized. So we start getting something, diversify the economy, okay, rather than focusing only on oil. Because of our time, I don't have to go, put naming all this. But these are the basics that should be done so that we know that the economy will, at a point, experience a real turnaround that will benefit the people, rather than talking about palliatives all the time or promises. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcel. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts. Okay, Are, what would be your advice to the president the next 2 years?
All right. Thank you very much. There's a World Bank report here that says that people born in year 2020, they will only be able to achieve 30% of their potential productivity because they will not have access to qualitative health and education services. This alone is a challenging report. Now, Marcel has hit the nail on the head. For as long as the cost of living or the cost of doing business are out of the capacity of the people and of the investors, we are not doing anything. If you say the prices of crude oil, petrol must be kept sky high, if I have a borehole and my neighbor is stealing water from my borehole, the onus is on me to manage my borehole in a way that it will no longer be okay for my neighbor to attempt to steal my water. That's the commonest example I can give. Now, we are at a point in our life that we should even have stopped exporting crude oil. With all the licensed refineries, we should be producing petrochemicals and all manner of products from our crude oil and be exporting that, in which case we will earn more foreign exchange. And that is the only way that we can show up the value of the naira. It's a good thing that they are paying attention to other minerals, and they are lucky, I can say, is performing. But the question is, are we where we should be yet? No. Then what percentage of the money being made gets into government coffers? Because there are still so many criminal enterprises operating in the solid mineral business sector. There are so many reports that you read online and you are scared of private small planes landing in some forests, collecting gold, raw gold, taking them out of the country, collecting cobalt and taking out of the country. We can go on and on. More importantly, security should be attended to. Farmers cannot farm. Naturally, we walked into food insecurity. But if And when we can secure the farms, farmers can go to farm. Of course, the harvest from the farms will be increased and the cost of food will be reduced. Today, we practically import almost everything that we eat, including pineapple from Benin Republic. That's why you see all those long on pineapple in the market, not the robust roundish one that we plant in Nigeria. It should not. I mean, it shouldn't be. Unfortunately, while the north is ravaged by terrorism, banditry, and all manner of insurgencies, the southwest, the southeast are now battling with kidnapping. People cannot move again. They cannot go to farm. They cannot. Everywhere is insecure. We are not, and everybody knows that there are bandits in our forest. Why are they not being flushed out? Rather, we allow them to get empowered by capturing people and collecting humongous demands. And where the demands are not met, they slaughter the person. The latest case that pained me mostly was the chairman of APC in Ose government in Ondo State. He was captured. They were asking for 100 million naira. Later, they said 30 million. Of course, they couldn't get. When they were able to raise 5 million, two people that took the money to them, they were also seized. At the end of the day, the man was killed. We've lost so many lives carelessly. And if things are like this, and the world is reading of insecurity of improper magnitude, who will bring foreign direct investments to Nigeria? Nobody will want to go to a place where you are not sure of the security and safety of your life and your staff. And that's the truth. And where there is no security, we can never grow, we can never develop. Either anyhow. So we need to get back to that. Again, government agencies should mind the information they give out to people. Lying has become part of the art and science of governance. It is not right, because with the world having become a global village through telecom terms and science, things that are happening everywhere, they get to be known within seconds. That they said our inflation is easing, food production is rising, investments are returning. Those are not true. They are not true. If they are true, banana should be 200 naira per bunch in Lagos and not 15, to say the least. So, and virtually on all human development index, we are going southwards. Education, healthcare. I mean, we are paying so much for electricity, and what we are getting is darkness. All these band A, band B, bandits or bandits, they are not working. So let them take all these things one by one and begin to tackle them frontally. We should stop hugging our challenges. We should address them frontally and make sure we do it seriously. Lastly, the issue of corruption. I don't know if we still don't realize that if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill us. We are losing humongous sums of money to corruption in a situation where one person, whether in cohort or alone, could build an estate of 753 luxury mansions. Tells so much about how worthless our financial control systems are. The last three Crown General of Nigeria, they are in court charged with embezzlement of national money. It's an eyesore. Ditto for one of the internal auditors. And several governors, ex-governors are being tried. For one was accused of stealing 170 billion. I mean, you can go on and on. These things, let them just sit down the neck and itemize all the challenges and begin to attack them one by one. We are not where we should be, and it's not looking like we are going anywhere. As it is today, if I'm asked to say it in one word, I will say that we are like an Ijebu man who is going to Ijebu and jump into a train. He will never arrive in Ijebu because there is no railway line to Ijebu. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's Oladende Rio. Thank you, public affairs analyst. And we've been chatting with Marcel Okeke, economic guru. There you have, Mr. President. That's your report card. It's not flattering. We so much work to be done in the next 2 years, and hopefully Nigeria will come up again. Nigeria will smile again. The streets will continue to smile, and we can say indeed that joy is coming. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you joining us this morning. This will be our final piece today. And as we often say here, be genuinely nice to people around you and every day, and do good as best as you can afford it. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us, and we see you guys out there next week. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sas. Thank you.